Hello, my name is Richard and thank you for watching this bite-sized session on the model for improvement. Now, the aim of this short video is to help you understand the model for improvement and how you will use this with all your improvement work. Now, whenever you embark on any improvement activity, you need somewhere to start. Now, at SAF, we have adopted the model for improvement as our foundational framework, and this has been widely adopted in the NHS. The model was developed from industry as a simple mechanism for making incremental improvements, and eventually this became known as the 4 stages of PDSA. Now, the model is structured around several key components by asking the same 3 questions before embarking on any improvement project. So question 1 asks, well, what are you trying to accomplish? Now, this is your aim. In other words, what do you want to improve and by when? The question ensures you spend time to understand what the problem is and ensure you fully understand what you're trying to achieve before you go any further. Question 2 then asks you to think about, well, how will you understand that the change you are testing will result in the improvement you are seeking? What evidence do you have to demonstrate that the idea has resulted in the desired outcome using a series of measures? Now, you can learn more about measures in a separate bite-sized video. Now, the third question, this is about encouraging you to engage with colleagues to generate ideas that you will be able to test out that results in the improvements you seek. Now, you need to be clear on what changes you're going to test out using the PDSA cycle with your team. And you can then keep revisiting the 3 questions as you test out your ideas to ensure you remain on track with the aim that you started off with. So before embarking on any improvement project, it is important to ensure you spend some time thinking about these 3 questions. Use this tool as your framework to enable you to achieve the outcomes you are seeking. Now, the PDSA part of the tool provides a methodical approach to testing out your ideas by following the steps in order of plan, do, study and act. It is the tool we use to test all our changes before we implement them. We can all think of ways to make changes, but using this approach provides rigour through testing to ensure the ideas we want to implement will make the necessary changes we are seeking. PDSA helps us to understand what may or may not work. It is important to remember, though, that we are not seeking perfection, especially on the first cycle. It is better to try out and get feedback to ensure you're on the right track, rather than spending too much time planning and coming up with the perfect solution. Now, following the learning, you can then make necessary changes to help progress to achieve to your best possible solution. So the first stage in the PDSA cycle is to plan by observing what currently happens and rapidly developing a plan that will lead to improvement. That means we need to start with, well, why are we making the change? What is not working as well as we would like? To understand this, we need data that shows us, such as feedback from our patients, data around a process, such as the amount of falls we've experienced on our ward over the last 2 weeks. We then need to consider who to involve in our change. This shows respect, as well as drawing upon the subject matter expertise that may need to help accelerate our understanding of process and opportunities for improvement. We also need to think about what we expect to happen when we implement a change and ensure we have a plan for collecting data that supports the change to demonstrate how it works following the improvement intervention. So the next phase is to just do it, also known as the testing phase, by rapidly implementing a change and seeing what difference it makes. In other words, if it is safe and legal to do so, just try it. So it is important to think about the scale of your change. It is recommended to trial on a small scale and not try to take too long trying to get to a perfect solution before testing out. Now, during this phase, get feedback from those carrying out the new way of working, as well as watching the process carefully. Remember, it is important to understand if the change you are trying out has an impact beyond your own area. We then study the results by comparing the data before and after the change. This will give you an opportunity to quickly assess if your idea has legs. It is important to listen to feedback and compare with your plan to determine if you need to change anything that will lead to an even more beneficial improvement. Now, we strive to be the best we can, but do not let perfection be the enemy of good and take too long trying to perfect your improvement, as it would become difficult to sustain. So the last phase of the PDSA cycle is ACT. where all those that will be affected by the improvement following rigid testing and study should be aware of the change and thinking differently about that process. During the act phase, you may adapt the change based on feedback and results. You repeat the PDSA cycle until you reach a point where you are confident it has worked and you adopt the new process. It is important at this stage to document the changes and communicate to all those who will be using the updated process. Sometimes though, despite your best efforts, the idea may not work as you anticipated and it will need to be abandoned. If this is the case, however, it is important to understand why it did not work and communicate this as part of the wider learning. Thanks for listening, and please use this tool when making any improvements in your area. If you need any further information, please contact the Improvement Hub either via Twitter, email or in person.